And I am going to turn things over here in a minute to Rachel, but I wanted to introduce her to you guys. I'm super excited for everybody to hear from Rachel because your success is inspiring and your story is inspiring. But also, we have like a lot of teachers on our team, and so I think that a lot of people are going to be able to relate to your journey. And that's probably because I was a teacher, therefore like attracts like. So I'm super excited. So guys, Rachel and I met, it had to have been on like the 2 to 5 star Central Region page or something. And I just love following her on social media. She's amazing and super inspiring and super real. So if you have not followed her yet, if you haven't been stalking her, go ahead and do that. She has been a coach for almost 3 years. She taught middle school, I want to say band, am I right? Band for, bless you, for 10 years. And she is a Success Club legend. She's a 6 star diamond coach. She was premier in 2018 and drumroll elite in 2019. So she no longer is teaching, but you are married to a teacher, yes? Am I right? So she is able to do this Beachbody gig from home, surpass her teaching income. She has 2 adorable pups and a husband, like I said, who's also a teacher, and she has got so much to share with us about our mindset and continuing on our journey. So I am going to turn it over to you, Rachel. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Oh, she lives in Texas. I don't know if I said that, but just incredible. She's just an incredible woman. So I'm super excited to have her join us.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Yeah, I think we were in before, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I just got like
it was a call. Wasn't it a mastermind or something?
Yes.
Before
Yeah.
Joe left.
Before Joe left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I am going to, this is like so teacher of me, but I have a PowerPoint, but really just to keep me on track, because if y'all were at Summit last year, if you're anything like me, you love like this shape personality thing with Kanye Podesta. I am like I'm actually more like a squoval, like part of me is like a square, but like my personality is so circle. I run my business a lot more like a square though. But I can talk a lot. So I'm going to try and get through this fast, make sure that I get through everything that I want to share with y'all. One of my biggest like passions in this is really mindset, especially working with new coaches, because I haven't been coaching that long. So all of my coaches are, kind of new too. And then how to keep going, specifically after you set goals and you don't achieve them, as you will with the vast majority of the goals that you set for yourself. So like Jessica said, okay. So I taught middle school band for 10 years. I was like overworked. I always say like I taught beyond full time, 60 to 70 hours a week. Band in Texas is like super, super competitive and hardcore. And I actually love that about it. Especially in my 20s, when that's all I really cared about was like my career and work. And then I got married, and I met my husband through band. Most band people marry band people. And he teaches high school band and works even longer hours than I do, but we were both making about $50,000 a year, which when I was 23, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm rich. This is awesome. And then by the time I was like 28, 30, I'm like, wow, this is really not going to cut it. And we were literally taking home less and less money every single year because the cost of like insurance and everything was going up. So even though they'll be like, yay, teachers are getting a 1% raise, we really weren't. It wasn't even enough to cover the rise in, well, we had to pay out for benefits anyways. So I yo-yo dieted throughout my whole entire 20s. Just eating less and like eating lean cuisines like actually worked for me when I was like 25. And then I got a little older and that stopped working for me. And I always felt miserable whenever I was dieting. I was always the person that was like, I'm going to diet so I can fit into this dress. But I had no idea like how to take good care of myself, especially when I was teaching. And I think that's so common for teachers because we have, and nurses and so many other professions I know too. But when you feel like you're taking care of people all day long, and we pride ourselves on like, I have to show up for everybody else, and our own self-care just like plummets. I like put on so much weight. So I've lost 40 pounds since that very first picture about 4 years ago, actually was my very first challenge group. But I had student loan debt and a lot of credit card debt. My husband has an incredible amount of student loan debt. And like I said, we took home less and less money every year. Ryan and I were both exceptional in our career though. Like we have always been like career, like very, very driven people. Like it's super important for us to like be the best at whatever it is that we do. And we loved that we got like recognition in our career field because it was so competitive, but the pay, didn't love that. Also started to not love the parent emails and all the hours away that we were, how we were like never at home. But other than my weight gain, you would have never known that I was somebody who struggled, especially financially. You wouldn't have even really known about my weight gain if you had followed me on social media, because I was de-tagging every single photo that ever like escaped and like got out there on Facebook, which I would die to have again for more before photos. I wish I hadn't de-tagged everything. But I rarely posted on social media except for like the highlight reel, like when we got our dogs, or when, you know, Ryan got an award, or I don't know, just we got a weekend away together, something like that. Just like the highlight thing, you never would have known how much I was struggling. And I found my coach 4 years ago on Facebook. She was expanding her network and friend requested me. We went to the same high school. I knew who she was. She's older though. I knew who she was. And I was like, oh my gosh, Raquel knows who I am. I was like, accept. And then turns out she was just, you know, we just had mutual friends. So she added me on Facebook. But she was posting all these things like healthy meals and everything. I didn't really know what Beachbody was. I'd kind of heard of it, thought it was like this pyramid scheme thing, but she was posting a lot of like valuable content. She was like sharing recipes and things like that. She had 3 kids under the age of 3 because she had twins, and she was like ripped. Like she's been into fitness her whole life, like pre-Beachbody. I was like, I want to look like you. So whatever you're doing, you're telling me I can eat all this delicious food. Whatever you're doing, sign me up. So I went all in a challenge group, fell in love with the nutrition and Shakeology, and lost like 8 to 10 pounds in my first month, as you can see, and just kept going. I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that's so sustainable. I signed up as a discount coach actually on my 29th birthday, which has been like the best birthday present I've ever could have given myself. Little did I know back then that I thought that coaching was a scam. So Raquel had asked me after my first month, like, you've been an amazing challenger, have you ever considered coaching? I was like, nope, pretty sure that's a scam. I didn't tell her that. I was like, oh no, not interested in that. And she asked me a couple more times after that. And I was like, no, I'm still not interested in it. And I'll share with you like some of the misconceptions that I had. But I said, she asked me 3 more times and then she stopped. After that 3rd time though, that seed that she had planted in me had been watered enough I wish she would have asked me one more time. And I always give her a hard time. If you would have just asked me one more time, I would have said yes a lot sooner, because that 4th time, I really kind of wanted her to tell me more about why. Like I started having more questions because by then I could see that this was something that could change my life. It was changing her life because she was showing up on social media. But I thought that I had to be really fit. And so I would say like 30 pounds of my weight loss came off after I was a coach. But I thought that I had to be into fitness. She has a background in fitness before Beachbody. So I thought that was something that like fitness people did. I thought I had to be somebody that like was exactly like her. I also didn't think I had the time to do it, even though I needed the money. I also think I just ended a Zoom call. I also thought that I just didn't have enough time. And I didn't want to be salesy. And I didn't think that she was salesy. But I saw a lot of other people on social media who were slinging products, and I didn't want any part in that. I thought that was annoying. I was just worried about what other people would think too. So I watched her on social media. I never commented on anything. I never joined any sneak peeks. But I watched her happiness, her finances, or I watched her change her happiness, her finances, and saw other people on her team doing the same. So emphasis on saw other people on her team doing the same thing. So then after 14 months of just watching and not getting ahead financially, I finally jumped in. It was like ready to go. I had decided, I was waiting for so long, like success was not going to be optional for me. Like if I was going to do this, I was going to put myself out there. I made a decision that I wasn't going to be salesy, that I wasn't going to do anything that made me feel like icky, like in my heart. Not saying I knew I was going to do things that scared me. I knew I was going to do things that got me out of my comfort zone, but I knew the things that turned me off about people who were promoting stuff on social media. I knew that I wasn't going to do that because I didn't want anyone, I wanted to reach people like me. So I did everything that Raquel told me to do. I think this was really key, that I've always shared my journey openly and shared it with excitement. And then as you can see, like August 1st was 2 weeks after this was like the very first challenge group I was running. So I had decided to become a coach, like actively coach, the last 2 weeks of July. So August 1st, I was like somebody who was never posting on social media, who would, especially not a picture of myself. And then it's like, hi, I'm a coach now. And your basic, like, I was wearing like a workout outfit or something like that. And then it was like August 1st. And I posted that August 1st picture. And I was like, today is day one of my very first challenge group. And I am so freaking excited. I have, however many people that are in my group with me right now. Anyway, like for people to see that was like, holy cow, what has gotten into Rachel? So I did like things that were like scary like that. But I just shared so openly and with a lot of excitement. So I started recruiting customers and coaches right from the start because all I knew about coaching, it was like none of the complicated stuff. I didn't overcomplicate anything. I knew that I needed to post on social media and share my journey, and that coach told me how to talk to people and invite people to do it. I wasn't inviting nearly as much as I am right now, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And that I needed to run challenge groups, and it was just like that simple. And I kept it so simple every single day, didn't overthink anything, didn't like lose myself in like hours of training or thinking that I had to understand how to do everything and how to understand all these different social media platforms or anything. I like just showed up and did those things because that's all I had time for. And that's all I knew. So I had and also my coach said, like, if you want to grow your income, you're going to need to grow a team, and you need to ask people that you think would be good coaches to join your team. And start with my best friend, or start with your friends, people that you knew in real life, which was actually really scary for me. But warm market is something that my team rocks. So sometimes people come, like, join my team, and they'll see like, oh, you have this many followers on Instagram, or your pictures look like this, or your posts are like this. And it's all about just like your social media presence. And that's not the underlying foundation of my business at all. For me, that's been like kind of like next level, how to keep me going. But that was like several steps down the road, or like up the pyramid. So I had two of my best friends that started coaching with me within the first couple of months. I invited both of them. They both said no at first. They both were super skeptical of Beachbody, but saw the change in me and the level of excitement that I had for my life, because I was showing up consistently and genuinely with that excitement and leading with it. And then, so they joined my challenge group. They fell in love with the programs. They got amazing results, obviously, and fell in love with Shakeology. So it honestly was like a natural fit for them to like, okay, like you really need to coach with me. But it kind of took me like almost like, I don't want to say pushing because I don't ever think that we should be pushy, but it did like with my two close girlfriends or with any of my girlfriends or family members that I have that relationship with where I know that I can push them. Like I can just say, no, this is what you need to do. You really need to do this. I could talk like that with them. Like, can you just do this with me already? Because I know you're going to. And I'm like, I'm just not ready yet. So eventually they're like, okay, let's do this. So by like 2 months in, I had 2 working coaches on my team with me, and they were my 2 friends. And it is a game changer whenever you can bring your warm market into your team. Okay, so here is a little bit of my business progression, and I'm sharing this income progression with you. This is what I share in my sneak peeks, or my coaching info group to show you specifically like the importance of getting to 2-star and how if you're trying to build your income, 2-star is where you need to be. So I went Emerald as soon as my coach told me to like, okay, now you got to go to Emerald, sign up, sign up your husband. And I signed him up on my weak leg, and then I signed up my mom. And this is what I always have my coaches do. They always like, you're very like, go hit Emerald by signing up 2 family members. That way they're both accounts that you can control. That way you're always a solid Emerald. That way you can always hold a solid Diamond, a solid 2-star, everything. So this is what I have my team do also. And because I signed up my husband first, he is my top earning coach by a lot. And then my coach said like, okay, I think you can go Diamond now. And I thought Diamond was this big scary thing. And I did that in month 5, but honestly, like I could have done that a lot sooner. I just didn't even know it was a thing. And it's literally just hitting Emerald times 6. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that you make more money. It doesn't mean that now you have this amazing team. It doesn't mean that you now have more responsibilities. It literally doesn't mean anything except that you've set yourself up for a little bit. Like, I feel like if you're not Diamond, but you're close, you're losing money. Like it just makes financial sense to be a Diamond coach. But 2-star is where you're like, your eyes need to be and what you need to be working towards. Because I had those 2 friends, we all kind of like pushed for Diamond at the same time. And so I started 2-star qualifying pretty quickly after I hit Diamond. And so you can see in my income progression, where month 7 is when I opened up my second business center, where you can see how my income literally like doubled. And then I was within that first year, I had matched my full-time teaching salary. And then once you open up that second business center and you have it, and your like spouse account can start earning income and like all of those things, that's where like the full-time income is possible. And I wasn't hitting insane Success Club numbers. I was typically hitting anywhere between like 10 to 20. And sometimes even 6, but 10 to 20 was pretty normal for me. But because I had a team of people who were just duplicating what I was doing, hitting Success Club 5 to 10 every month, all my volume started growing. I started growing my income. Anyway, Ryan and I took our very first vacation together that spring break. We bought our first house together that summer. I was able to leave teaching after 2 years, and now I get to work like when and where I want. No parent-teacher conferences, no email. I mean, of course I do email, but like I feel like you don't even get like nasty emails like on the way that you do when you're a teacher with this. But also, I have missed a lot of goals that I set for myself along the way, and I have failed forward a lot along the way because I realized that I just wasn't who I needed to be yet in order to achieve those things. Specifically, we were after my first year, the year that we ended Premier, we were actually we ended the year 4-star, and we were ranked in like the top 4, in the top like 45 in elite, like in the elite rankings, but I didn't start, I didn't end the year at 5-star. And that, I should say, I was about to say that crushed me, but rephrasing that, I let it crush me. And I let this goal that I had for myself, which is so like arbitrary and doesn't, I think elite is like so important. And I make more money being an elite coach because I get the bonus. And I love like a lot of the extra perks that we get and what it represents. But I thought like, oh my gosh, I set this goal. I'm like a failure. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not whatever. And I saw so many of my coaches do the same, especially this girl who was like pushing for diamond at the same time, who I needed to be diamond for 5-star. And she didn't hit it. And she actually quit almost shortly after. And I was just like, oh my God. And then after that, I had like all these other coaches that had kind of just like fizzled out. And I just let that, and you're going to have coaches quit. Like not everyone's going to be a lifer. I have a few lifers, but I've had a lot of people that are like in and out. So that like my income progression does not represent like having a ton of coaches that have stuck around forever. Like that is a representation of bringing new people in as new people go out. Because that's just like how it all works. Anyways, I just like really let that get me down. And I never took a break from the business. I am anti taking a break. I am anti taking a step back. I am anti taking 2 weeks off of social media or anything like that. So I kept showing up for my business, doing some of the things, but my foot was on the gas for the whole first year and a half of my business. And when we missed elite, first of all, Premier is amazing. Like that's an incredible accomplishment. 4-star was an incredible accomplishment. But because to me, I was like, I missed a goal. I set a goal and I missed it. I'm not somebody that misses goals. I let myself get so down and I took my foot off the gas. Literally the worst thing that you can do when you are building momentum is taking your foot off the gas. And it took a little while for that to really show up. And so it was like the beginning of last year and I had like no new working coaches. I had no new coaches that counted for elite points. I was like not even recruiting coaches for like half a year, even though I was trying. I was just so like, I'm not good enough. I compared myself to so many other people. I'm like, I'm a fraud. Like I had so much recognition last year. We were like at the top of the company last year. And now we're like at the bottom and maybe I'm not cut out for this. And all of this stuff that was literally just like sucking my energy. When I realized like it just took like when we didn't hit 5-star or when we didn't hit 5-star in time or we didn't hit elite or whatever, or if you're like pushing for diamond and you're not diamond yet, it's literally just because you have not become the person you need to be in order to achieve that yet. So I had to I kept saying like, oh, there's still time in the year. There's still time. Oh, there's still time in the month. Oh, there's plenty of time left until it was like the year was like flying by and I was like, why am I not progressing anymore? Why am I about to like take this full time? And like, while the income was great, I was like not feeling like so excited about it anymore. Because I wasn't growing. And I realized, okay, so if I want to be an elite coach, or if I want to be like $1 million earner, if I want to be in the top 10, if I want to be anything, how does somebody like that act? How does $1 million earner act? So I think like somebody who I respect a lot is like a Melanie Mitro. So I'm like, does Melanie procrastinate getting her power hour done? Or I call them action hours. Does Melanie procrastinate getting her action hour done? No. Does Melanie second guess whether or not to send an invite to somebody? No. Does Melanie freak out and get down about herself when she gets a coach cancellation in her email? No. Because whenever I was pouring in my energy into that and letting every little no defeat me or get me down, that was like energy that was like, I didn't have to put into being excited and sharing with other people. So I actually think that's like the best part about this business is actually growing into the person you need to be. The way I show up for my business today is so different than it was a year ago. But the cool thing is that, well, I think like the best part about it is like the person I become. It's not even about like that we've achieved whatever we've achieved. It's about the person that I turn into in order for us to achieve that. And I don't like want to say the word like turning in. I'm careful to say like, I wasn't the leader I needed to be, because that's so vague. Like, what is a leader? To me, that's somebody that has like mastered themselves, or that is like the best way that I know how to lead is to take care of my own stuff and share with my team how I'm taking care of my own stuff, how I fit it in, and then encourage and motivate and try and motivate them, not drag, but how to motivate them or inspire them to do the same. But first, I have to be that person to show up and do my own things. Okay. So one of the biggest changes that we made, one of the biggest things that happened when I had this realization back in, it was like last April. I was like, okay. Oh, it was like it was March, and it was the end of the month, and I still hadn't even hit Success Club yet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like the last day of the month. I think I hit it. I was like, okay, this is not what I want for my life anymore. This is like Rachel, your lack of consistency and being down in the dumps and comparing yourself to other people. It is no longer serving you. It's time to like be the person, like the way I would show up for my job, I was not showing up for my business. I was like, okay, so if I need to treat my business more like a job just so that I can like actually like get through and like do the things, then I need to do that. Because I used to think of it as like, oh, it's just like this extra little thing. It's like this side income that I'm making. But I'm like, if I want this to change my life, I can't treat it like that. Okay, so I'm going to show up for it like I have to. Like I have to, I'm going to get fired. Because literally, like my income is dropping. I wasn't bringing on new coaches, anything. Anyway, so I just started working on myself. I know that sounds like so cliche, but I just focused on being more consistent with myself and sharing about that. And like getting excited and being grateful for everything that I did have, and really showcasing especially on social media or in private conversations, like celebrating the team that I did have, instead of being like, oh, I don't have this coach anymore, or, oh, I have all these coaches that keep quitting. When I still had some people that were around, and it's just like, even if you have one person, or even if you have no one, I would like celebrate those people, but then talk about this team that I wanted to have. And I would talk about it as if I already had them. Like, what did I want? I wanted coaches who wanted to work on being their best self every day. So I talk about that. On our team, we work on being our best selves, or on our team, we do this. Even with new coaches. On our team, we hit Emerald in the first month. On our team, we hit Diamond in the first 3 months. And even if like that wasn't actually happening, like sharing with people, whether it's publicly or in private messages, like this is what we do on our team, like kind of setting that expectation. Okay, so then I started like, people started coming on. And then it was like July, and we had, I think, almost no elite points for the year, which is like totally different than the year before. And so I think we did this in August, September, October, November, no, July, August, September, October, November, December. In like 6 months, we made up all of our elite points, the last 6 months of last year. So I started bringing on new coaches and really like getting clear with them on this. So with every new coach, stressing your journey comes first. Focus on taking care of yourself, your personal development, and your health and fitness and all that. And then share and invite with other people. But you also need to respect your business hours, your hours as a mom, your hours as an employee, your hours as like a wife, like get it in your schedule. And then whenever you're feeling like, oh, I can't juggle everything, I feel like the first thing most people blame is coaching. Like, this business is getting in the way of my marriage, or it's causing problems at work, or whatever it is, when really you're letting it. And if it's causing any problems, first of all, coaching does not cause any programs. It only enhances your life. It makes you better at everything else. It's your lack of your own time management. So schedule in there. Like when I was teaching, I couldn't even work my business during my lunch because I had bathroom. I didn't have bathroom. I had lunch duty where I sat outside the 8th grade bathroom to tell him to stop screaming in the bathroom for no reason while I ate my lunch. Like I didn't have any time to work my business. So I worked it from 8 to 10 every night. And my husband knew that. And my team knew that. So they knew that if they were messaging me before that, they probably weren't going to hear from me. Or if they were messaging me from 8 to 10 and I was working my power hour, like they weren't going to get back to me. So just making that really clear with everyone in your life, like when you're working your business, and then actually show up and work your business during that time. And then put your phone away. If you want to go hang out with your husband every day, so this is me. Like if I'm going to spend quality time with Ryan every day, I'm going to do it without my phone. And I'm not going to bring my business into it. Now, if it's like the last day before a qualification or something, he's going to know about it. Like, okay, I'm going to keep my phone with me, but just so you know, like I'm qualifying for, I'm waiting for this order to go through or whatever. Just just letting everyone that's important in your life know, but also sticking to that schedule. So I think that's so important for new coaches to understand that you don't have to be working on your business constantly, but you do have to be working on it consistently. But mindset is everything in this business, and it's always going to be a work in progress. And as a new coach, your time should be spent, less of your time should be spent thinking and way more of your time spent doing. So if you find yourself like, oh, I'm working my business for an hour and I'm in my head the whole time, you're doing it wrong. No, you're not doing it wrong. That's totally normal, but you need to flip it. Spend more of your time actually taking action than thinking about it. Because if you're just thinking about it, you're not actually doing it. Okay, so this is how we approach inviting. So think about like if you're having a birthday party at your house. So I live in like a newer neighborhood, and new people are moving in all the time. And I'm actually not like super outgoing when I first meet people. And let's say I see that I have a new neighbor, or I saw that, in our Facebook group that she just moved in. And I'm having a birthday party, or we're having a get together at our house. And I want to invite her because I want to be friends with her. And I think that she'd have fun and like my friend, but I'm honestly like scared of being rejected. I don't like being rejected. It's something I've struggled with my whole life. And so I'm nervous to invite her. So do I invite her do I invite her to this party that I know is going to be really fun and because I really want to be friends with her? Do I invite her and be worried that she's going to be like, no, thank you, I don't really know you? Or, and risk that, that rejection, or not invite her, which then might lead to her finding out later that we had this party and it's rude to not invite somebody to a party when they meet the same qualifications as everybody else, right? So kind of looking at it from that side. And this was like a big fear that I had. I think a lot of my new coaches have, like, I'm just worried about like, well, it's scary about people saying no, and we'll talk about that in just a second too. But inviting them to a party, like this is something that changes people's lives. And looking at it as just planting a seed in them. And then you water that seed by showing up on social media, by doing your follow-ups, and they will eventually come around. So, personally, this is what I also tell my coaches, especially with the term like health and fitness coach. That was something that held me back from wanting to do this. Like I was like, I'm a teacher, I teach middle school band, and I'm 20 pounds overweight still. And you want me to show up on social media as if I'm a health and fitness coach? Like who would want that? Like who would want me to be their coach? That's literally what I thought for the longest time. So I no longer lead with like the term health and fitness coach because that's not me personally. So I was like, tell my coaches, like, be clear about what you are an expert in. For me, I am an expert in working 60 to 70 hours a week and still finding time in the weekend to meal prep all of our lunches and dinners in advance so that we have healthy meals to eat the rest of the week that actually make our lives easier. I am an expert at getting myself out of bed at 4 a.m. to get a workout done so that I can be at work and show up present with more energy at my job by 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm an expert at how to create 2 extra hours in your day to work this side business. I'm an expert at creating a side income through this business. Like all of the things that you know you are an expert at, lead with that. Because for me, that gives me a lot more confidence than telling someone I can coach you with your health and fitness. Because for me, I'm like, well, I don't have a certification in that. I don't even like that part all that much. Like if somebody's like really, really struggling with their health and fitness, that's not my jam. Like I don't love chasing people down and telling people, no, you need to show up and like, that's not my favorite part about the business personally. So I don't lead with that. I just lead with what I am an expert in. But people are going to need to watch for a while to see if you stick with it, especially smart people, because I think I like to say this because this is me. I think smart people are naturally skeptical. I can be a pretty skeptical person at first, kind of think everything is like, ooh, why are you sending me a message? What do you want? I always think people like want something from me. So those people are going to need to watch you for a while to really see if you stick with it. And that's where you just plant that seed and water it and you keep showing up, never, ever, 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 ever quit. Because as soon as you quit, that seed is going to die. And they'll be like, oh, no, see, you're just another one of those people that start and stop a home business. Like, be that person that doesn't. So some of my favorite books for new coaches is one, this is the very first book I read, Rock Your Network Marketing Business by Sarah Robbins. Like that taught me how to think in terms of network marketing, like seeing everything and everyone as an opportunity, not in an opportunistic way, but an opportunity for me to impact their life. It kind of just like honestly taught me how to be a better person, like how to interact with people in real life and not just like walk like a zombie past your coworkers in the hallway, but actually like smile at them and develop relationships with them. And then my second book that I recommend is Go for No for the For Network Marketing edition of it, the Ray Higdon edition. I didn't read that book until a couple of months ago, and it has changed the way that I think about no's. And then You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, because that's just like good, like pump up stuff. So for new coaches, so we have all this emotion inside of us, like keep that emotion in your social media posts. I think a lot of people like kind of flip this, like their social media posts are like super surface level, but then they have all this emotion that goes into the outcome of what somebody might say when you reach out to them. Instead, put more of your emotion in your social media posts, put more of your energy in there, like tell a story that's going to make people feel something, but then have no expectation, like have no reaction to what somebody's going to say to your invite, whether they say yes or no. So I think that no's, which I also consider like no replies as no's, are awesome because you earn money from them. So for me personally, I earn $70 on average per new customer. If I bring on a new working coach, their value is actually even way more than $70 because they can create all of these other $70 and $70 and $70 underneath them. But for me personally, I usually get like 200 no's for me to find one yes. That's kind of like the ratio I have right now. So I did the math on that. And if I'm making $70 per yes, that means that every no, I'm earning 35 cents. But I can't cash in on any of that until I reach $70. So that's 235 cents to get to $70. So I want to get to 200 as fast as possible. But y'all, so many people stop at $2. So many people stop at $5. So many people stop at 10. There are so many people that probably stop by the right before they get to that $70 or whatever that number is. But I actually think that no's tend to have a higher value than 35 cents when you're in your warm market. So I tell my coaches, if you're inviting somebody who you know in real life and they say no or they don't reply, that's 50 cents because they're not going to take as many follow-ups as all the people who don't know you in real life. So yes, you can go and work a cold market. Yes, you can go and try and build your Instagram and all of that stuff that isn't going to build you the super solid foundation right from the start like your warm market is. But you're not going to earn as much. So I think a warm market no is anywhere between 50 cents to $1. And my two best, if they're your best friends, those no's are worth like $10. Those are like very valuable ones. And the more you make people feel something, like feel emotion in your social media, I put social media markets, I meant to put social media posts, the more each no is also worth too. So when you see like, well, somebody like this person that puts out this great energy and they're making really great social media posts and they have people ready to sign up, they're still doing the behind the scenes work. They just don't hear as many no's maybe, or to get to the yeses. They're still getting lots of no's. They're probably getting way more no's than you are. But because the energy that they're putting out is making each of those no's a little bit more valuable. So I ask my team every day, like, how much money did you make today? For me, I think I made $18 today. So I'm a lot more excited to say I made $18. I know I can't cash in on that yet because I haven't reached like 70 since my last $70 that I earned. I'm like pumped to say like I earned $18 today. Like that genuinely makes me a lot more excited than saying like, I got 18 no's. I got 18 no replies, no yeses. So that just like keeps me excited. That keeps our team excited. And especially if you're like in it for like, I'm just like super like money driven in that sense. Like I like to see the numbers, and knowing that everything I'm doing is going to pay off. And so that really works for me. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I'm talking so much. Okay. So recruiting, a little bit about recruiting, especially as a new coach. Don't wait until insert whatever unimportant rank or achievement that has nothing to do with your actual worthiness of having a team and helping others. I think there's so many people that say like, I can't have a team until I lose 10 pounds. I can't have a team until I master myself, until I stop procrastinating. I can't have a team until I'm making as much money as Jessica is. Like no one's going to want to join me until, when that's just totally not true. Whatever you, we'll talk about that in just a second. Like you are like worthy of having a team already, like build it from the start. I promise you that there are so many people out there who want to be a part of the community that y'all have going on. And then in private conversations with people and sneak peeks to like, I used to ask coaches, I used to like send my coaching invites. This was so stupid. I used to like, okay, I'm going to do my 5 coaching invites. Like who can I invite that I think really, really, really needs this in their life and will probably say yes. Instead of actually inviting the people who I want to be on Success Club trips with, who I want to share a hotel at Summit with, who I want to have in all my pictures with me in social media, who I want to invite to my party, who I actually want to hang out with and talk to on social media. Even though those people can be scary, especially if you have a fear of rejection, like I do, it can be scary to invite those people, but that's when you have to like flip the switch and be like, nope, this is a gift and it's rude for me not to share this opportunity with people because it's changed my life. And I know it can change theirs too. And it'll be so much fun to do together. But when you are talking to the right people, like when you have people in sneak peeks or even in private conversations with people, don't downplay the work that goes into it. Be straight up about the vital behaviors. Yes, you have to be a product of the product. And people say, do I really have to drink Shakeology? I used to say like, no, you don't have to, because technically do they have to? No. I'll say, but if you want to earn an income, you need to get people on Shakeology. And how can you genuinely recommend it to somebody if you're not a believer in it yourself? So like, yeah. And so have I lost some people from that? Yeah. But they're not people that were going to do anything anyway. And then of course, personal development. I let people know, like we talk to people privately behind the scenes. You see me post on social media. A lot of my people are results of invites, so they understand. When you can get a coach who came off of an invite for you, especially if they were somebody you invited and then followed up with like 10 times over a year, and they're finally ready to join you, they are going to be the biggest believers in inviting. I have coaches on my team right now who watch, and I followed up with them, and I was even thinking, I don't know if they're ever going to do this or not, but I'm supposed to still follow up with them, so I'm going to do it anyway. And then they are like, they know, they believe that works because that's how they came into this business. So that's like why I'm so intentional about my private invites, especially to coaching. I love it when they come off of it, when they join my team because of an invite and follow up, because I know that they're going to be rock stars at inviting and follow up because they know it works. And then when we help people get results, I'm clear about that, like in my sneak peeks. So I'm like, I'm not a health and fitness expert. I'm not making programs. When I say I help people get results, it means that I show up and share my journey. I check in with them, let them know that I'm an ear or a set of eyes that can, listen to them when they're struggling, and that I'm fighting the good fight with them too. That's literally how we help people get results as coaches. We are not creating programs and products for them. It's so simple. And then on social media, share what you've gained in this first category, physically from being a coach, what you've gained emotionally and mentally from being a coach, and what you've gained in the community. And then the last thing, what you've gained financially from this business, which it might not be anything yet, or it might just be, oh, I've only earned like 15 extra, but I've got my Shakeology covered, or I haven't even got my Shakeology covered, or I'm not making anything at all. That's okay. You don't have to like make money in order to have a team. What we want is people who need those first three things: the physical, the emotional and mental, the community. And it's like a bonus that we get to earn an income from this. But everyone is looking for those first three things. And the more people that you can help on your team, and this is like, I'm speaking like specifically to like new coaches who don't have income built yet. If you can help, if you can focus on how this business has transformed you in the short amount of time that you've been a coach, and you can share that with other people, who wouldn't want those things? Everybody wants that. And the more people that you can help in those three categories, the more that fourth category, your income, the more that's going to grow. Like, that's literally how you're going to start making more money. And then you can share with people the financial transformation that you've had with this too, and what that's done for your life. But it's all a result of helping people physically, emotionally, and mentally, and giving them a sense of community. And then show that it takes consistent work. Don't, like, if somebody says, oh my God, I really don't want to work anything else for an hour. If somebody says like they're not willing to give you an hour to 2 hours a day, then you don't need to say like, oh, you don't have to do anything. Just like, please sign up. Like, if you want to attract people who want to work in your business, show up and share how you are working, how you're fitting it in, what sacrifices you've made, and why you're doing it, and how awesome it actually is. And don't be shy about sharing your own fears and misconceptions. I share all the time that I used to think this was a scam, that I wasn't fit enough, that I didn't have enough time. And so I attract people who already like understand that. Or that they come with me in private conversations with less objections about those things. And then share that this is like truly what I believe, that the best part about this is that in order to be successful, you have to become the best version of you. And how awesome is that? Like, that is the best part, that you literally just get to be better people. And I'll share this link with y'all in the chat so that you have it. And then from a tactical standpoint, I share with my team what my power hours look like. Don't judge my browser. I have like so many windows open. So every month I update this document for my team so that they know. I'm somebody who's super system oriented. Especially like when I only have a limited amount of time to work. Like, it used to suck my energy out when I get a message, I'm like, I don't know how to reply to this, or how do I follow up with this person? So I just keep it all typed out. I actually save this in the notes in my phone that I can access through my computer too. So my team knows, okay, when I sit down to work my action hour, this is exactly what I'm doing. I go to my followers list, and if they're watching my stories, these are the messages and follow-ups that I send them. I have a bunch of those. Same with my posts. So I'm always inviting on my posts and on my stories. And if it's the first invite that I'm sending them, I'll send them one of these examples. If it's the second invite, I send them this. If they've ghosted me, this is what I send them. And I actually have one of my assistants send out some of these for me. So it's just super easy for me to have this document, and for her to like copy and paste some stuff for me too. But for me, I know some people are like, I don't follow scripts, and You just got to speak from your heart. Like when I'm exhausted at the end of the day, when I was exhausted at the end of the day teaching and had a million other things running through my mind, I needed like as little brain power as possible to like do some of those things. And then I also give like conversation guides to all my coaches, like when somebody says yes, here's what I send them. Anyway, so I love having this all in a document so I can just like give it to my coaches so that they know exactly what I'm sending. And then every month I update it with like, new dates for the next boot camp or whatever program is coming out next. So that's been one thing that's helped my new coaches a lot, especially get started in doing their daily tracker so that they're not having to waste time figuring out what they want to say. And of course they change up the words to make it sound more like them. But oh my gosh, I like talked forever. Sorry. But that's all I have.
Do not be sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm like, my hand's like sore from like writing all the things. You guys too, do not be sorry. This was amazing. Okay, so I know I want to give you guys a chance to ask questions, but I know the topic was for new coaches, but I'm like an OG coach at this point, and I have so many takeaways, and it was exactly what I needed to hear because I'm just in a super big, like, hard on myself slump right now from missing some goals and just feeling really yucky. And I just needed to hear from you. So thank you. Seriously, awesome stuff. All right, I have like 4 pages of notes, but I want to so I could talk about like some of my takeaways, but I also want to let you ladies, while Rachel's here with us, ask a question, pick her brain. Don't be shy about it. So who's got a question? It's not like them not to ask. So I'm guessing someone does. It's a small group, so you can just unmute yourself and ask. Oh.
Okay, I'll ask one. So
Yay! Thank you, Carla.
One of the struggles I have is because I feel like, especially, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into the national wake up call from yesterday, like the 62 or whatever, but one of the biggest struggles I have is taking that. I have to think of a way to say this. Going from that point, like, we're supposed to build relationships, but it seems like, people are pushing numbers so much. Like, how are you building relationships and then deciding like when to go? Are you just basically going, I know you mentioned going off of likes and posts and all of that stuff, but do you do beyond that? Because I struggle with, like, a lot of times it'll be the same, like 50 people or whatever that are liking. So how do you get past those people?
That's a really good question. That's a really, really good question. Because I used to think that too, like, oh my God, how am I going to get people in my funnel? I don't know how to I had no interest in small talk with people. If for me, a conversation on Instagram specifically, like I said, I've worked a lot in warm market, but like so much of my new business now is pretty much like all, for the vast majority, it's like all like cold market, people I haven't already met in real life. Anyway, like it's awkward when a conversation starts by, for me, like, hey, your dogs, actually I could talk to anyone about their dogs if they look like mine, but like, I really like your clothes. Where do you shop from? I would start those conversations too. And I was like, oh my God, this is so awkward. Like, where do we take this from? It just seems. And when I get those messages from people, I'm like, just get to the point. Are you trying to sell me something? So I also don't want to have these small conversations to then find out that they already have a coach, or that they're never, ever, ever going to join, or they're allergic to Shakeology. I know that kind of sounds terrible, but I don't have time. Like my goals don't have time for that. So I get straight to the point, kind of like Sydney said on her call. Like I have connection examples in there, but I don't really, most people don't even reply to them. But if they're watching all of my stories and they watch all through my boot camp, my first contact with them, like a boot camp invite, my first contact with them is, hey, thanks so much for watching my stories and not making me feel like a weirdo for talking in my phone. I saw you check out my nutrition boot camp stories. You interested in details? Or is that something you want to do? Something like that. And then that's where I kind of like, that's where it's first established. Like, I have this thing, do you want this or no? But then I'll keep them, like they stay on my follow-up list, but then I'll go through and like engage on their posts, and like their stuff or comment on their stories. I still have people in my funnel who I know are going to join my team. If I really like them, it's easy for me to keep small talk going. We're not talking every single day, but this one girl and I talk about, like, she has like the prettiest backyard and we're trying to like make ours prettier. And so like, we have like genuine conversations like about that sort of thing. But I don't do any like forced relationship stuff. Even on my follow-ups, it's like, how are you doing? Are you feeling any closer to your goals? You're like, do you have your baby yet? Or how was your move? How is this going? You know, hey, I was thinking about you and I found this recipe that you might really like. Are you feeling like you're getting closer to where you want to be? I keep it pretty focused on this. Does that help at all?
Yeah, thanks. Because it just feels like I've always struggled with like, okay, like I friended you and when is it okay to like, how long do I have to talk to you? So that's something I've struggled with for a really long time, but maybe it's just get to the point, and then if it turns into a genuine friendship, it does. And then you can kind of keep the relationship going and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it keeps me out of my head from, if I can start it with an invite, it keeps me from getting to that awkward, like, how do I turn this into an invite? How do I not sound like I'm trying to be salesy? If I'm saying, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you watching my stories, because I know, like, oh my gosh, if you watch my stories for a whole day, you just spent 10 minutes of your day with me. Like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Do you have any interest in doing this? Again, 99% of people say, actually 99.5, right? Because 1 out of every 200 people say yes. Most people say no at first, but then they start watching.
Thanks.
That's really good advice. I feel like, especially on Instagram, people are less offended if you just get to the point too. Does that make sense at all? Like you said, I want someone just to tell me, like, what exactly are you trying to sell me, rather than try to make small talk. If it's someone who's in your warm market, I feel like it's different.
Yes, and especially with stories, like, so much of that relationship building actually happens in Facebook stories, even though it's one-sided. Like, I feel like people feel like they're closer to you, or that they know you better. So even though they like want you to be direct and like get to the point, and they're not going to be offended by your invite, or that you added that, that you follow them or anything, they're also like, the watering of that seed, because of Instagram story and Facebook stories too, I guess. Because of Instagram stories, I feel like it like works so much better. Although it kills me that you can't see viewers past 24 hours anymore.
Yeah.
I hated that change.
Other questions? That's really good insight.
So I have one. Going off of like messaging or Instagram story people, like if it's the same people that like continue to follow you but like won't respond to a message that says, hey, I've seen that you've been watching my stories, are you interested in joining me? How many times do you follow up with them, or do you just, because I have a lot of people that consistently watch me but they don't ever respond to me.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still interested, otherwise they wouldn't be watching you. I like every month I still follow up with them. I just change up the wording, and that's in that Google, that's in that link that I sent to. Like, if it's the second time they haven't replied, if it's the third time they haven't replied, if it's the 4th time, just changing up the wording a little bit, but calling them out usually by the second or And the second one is usually like, hey, I'm not sure if you saw my message or not. I know things easily get lost on Instagram and life gets crazy. But saw you still watching my stories, da, 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 da. And then the third one might be more direct, like, okay, girl, I see you still watching me every single day. I know you might be hesitant, but I want you to know that I'm here when you're ready.
Hey, stalker.
Yeah, kind of. And sometimes in my stories, I'll be like, if you're ignoring my messages, parentheses, I see you. It's okay. I used to do the same thing, but just like letting them know, like, I still see you and I still appreciate you showing up. I also want to let you know that I'm still here for you. And like Sabrina, if somebody is watching you every single day, they will join you. It's just a matter of time.
I love that.
Okay.
If they weren't interested, they wouldn't watch.
I love that mindset. That's a millionaire mindset right there. Like you talked about. I mean, it is, right? I love that. I wrote that down among my many notes. But how does $1 million earner act? $1 million earner acts that, I mean, they know that if you are watching, you're going to.
I feel like sometimes, like Melissa McAllister is your upline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like she's another one. I'm like, how would Melissa McAllister handle this situation? She would not freak out. She would not cry over this. She would get it handled.
Right. Is Melissa McAllister afraid to invite people? No.
So why should we be? She's just a normal person.
Indeed she is. Well, I don't want to keep you, lady, because it is late. But does anybody have any other questions as we wrap up? Because it's been an hour, so I don't want to. I'm sure that Rachel will not be offended if you reach out. I mean, she would love to connect with you. If you think of something, you can message her or have me pass it on too. But I, for one, am fired up. So thank you. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to connect with all of us and inspire us. And I know that there'll be lots of people who will watch the recording. So we really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. We are honored to have you here. And I'm excited, ladies, to see your takeaways and to chat more with you and to see you put some of this into action, okay? All right. Bye, ladies. Thanks again, Rachel.
Welcome.